The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely. First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit, I don't want to get abducted and anal.
This film is not rated.
The high school Majorettes. They're so popular, so pretty, and so desirable. You just can't take your eyes off them, and that's enough to get them killed. One by one by one.
It was more than just a tease. The way women toyed with him. Everywhere he went, they were there.
There are millions of swingers that live it up.
Let's cut out. It's party time.
But some die.
Charlie, I wanted her.
I thought I told you if word got out that we were swingers, it would kill my practice.
Spells are very difficult to break once they have been cast on you.
I was just walking home.
You must believe in the power.
And they threw something over my head.
Ooh, this sounds serious.
I didn't even see them coming.
Quit screwing with me, Brenda. I'm not in the mood for this shit anymore.
The curse that begins with a kiss. Stigma.
I've got it.
It crept around town from girl to boy.
We're a fine church-going community. You don't get it by sitting on public crappers.
An epidemic of VD in Vietnam, yes. But in the USA, man.
Hey, they think we have this sick.
One case ain't gonna contaminate the whole community. Yeah, well, there can be no one case without another. That is a simple fact.
Dr. Drawer?
A disease they'd rather die from.
Leave it to the co-author of The Night of the Living Dead to take the Majorettes apart.
Everywhere he looked, he saw beautiful people. All Vinny wanted was to be part of it. Women teased him.
You naughty boy.
Making him obsessed by them. So when he finally persuaded a woman or two to spend a little time...
Could you move your head a little to the right?
Vinny made sure what he got was more than just teased.
Amy that I'm interested in.
Yeah, two of them. Listen, we're gonna need the meat wagon over here.
You think I'm crazy?
You've never met a couple like Charlie and Amy.
In your mind's eye, you are not guilty. Yet in eternity's eye, you are.
I've told you everything I know.
And now, let the ceremonies begin.
This is really gonna grab you by the short hairs, baby. Your daughter was right there in the thick of it.
Panic and violence exploded everywhere.
Don't be a fool! Before I'm through, I'm gonna give it to every bastard I can, including giving it back to you.
Stigma, she's got it.
This is really gonna grab you by the short hairs, baby. And other classic lines from Stigma, which is a film. It's on Tubi, folks. You got to check this film out. Okay, it's one of those films we're looking at tonight on this fine and fiendish Frightday evening on the Horror Mike show. Good evening. I'm your host, Horror Mike. And welcome to the show, fiends and freaks alike. You just saw a series of trailers or bits of trailers, including the Majorettes, another one that's definitely worth a look at on Tubi. Brain Twisters, folks. The Last Horror Film is another good one. The Devil's Nightmare, another one. And we're going to be looking at more than that tonight. There's just some gems that have popped up on Tubi, a few that have been on there for a little while, but we're going to be taking a look at some really good ones tonight, folks. You will not believe what you see when you watch the full trailers to these films. And before that, of course, you saw trailers for some of my films because I'm selling them or renting them. So first up, my film First Man on Mars. It's on Blu-ray, folks. And matter of fact, I've got that sucker queued up. So let's take a closer look at it. Now it's on eBay. It's on eBay, my good fiends. There we go. For the mere price of $9.95, signed and numbered, and you're automatically entered to win one of two movie props from the film. Yeah, that's right. You heard that right. I'm going to make this a little larger. There we go. But that is my film, First Man on Mars. And I'm going to drop that link right in the chat. Good Lord. There it is. That is the link to First Man on Mars on eBay, my good fiends. Next up, certainly another charmer, and that is on Amazon Prime. It's Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1, my good fiends. And the great thing about Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1 is that you can rent it for $1.99. It's 2 hours long, folks. 2 hours of wall-to-wall sci-fi horror entertainment. Good Lord. And I'm going to drop that link in the chat as well. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And there's the link in the chat. There you go, folks. That is for Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1. And, of course, I got one last but not least. And that is Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. My latest book, and it is now on Indie Planet. The signed numbered copy sold out real quick. And fortunately, I got that thing on Indie Planet, so you can get it, the print version on Indie Planet. I just dropped the link in the chat. There it is right there. I'm going to show you a bit of that right now. My good fiends. There we go. So this is the book. Yeah, there it is, folks. Feast your Vulcan squinties on that one. Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. That fabulous original art cover from Bernard Bailey for Weird Mysteries number 4. Yes, indeed. This is all pre-code art. The back cover. This thing is so rare, it's ridiculous. This was a cover that was never used. A cover with art by Warren Kremer. It was supposedly going to be for an issue of Black Cat Mystery from Harvey Comics, and they never used it. That is just one amazing freaking cover, and for one reason or another, they just never used it. But it's on my book. It's in my book now, folks. So you get 12 feature-length, full-length stories. There are some gems in here. This is God. It's so good. For example, you can see this is Cavern of the Doomed. Bob Powell art. Freaking fantastic. And as you may be able to tell, I mean, this is the original art, right? And you can see the blue line. You can see the paste up on all of these. Just like in any of the other like original arts books you see from Marvel or EC, stuff like that. So there are 12 stories, full stories. There is just a beautiful splash page by George Roussos for another story. And then after the 12 stories, I get into original art covers and their final printed covers. And as you can see, this is for Witch Tales #2, the original art and the final cover, Al Avison. I have got some rare freaking covers here. Yeah, this is Warren Kremer preliminary. Here we go. Here we go. This is just beautiful. This is Warren Kremer. Now, Warren Kremer and taught Lee Elias everything he knew for Harvey. And so here you see the initial rough drawings for the classic Chamber of Chills issue number 19. And this is Warren Kremer here. Now, Warren Kremer is laying it out. He's telling Lee Elias how he wants it. The color sketch there is also Warren Kremer. Then on the next page, once again, you see the final original art as rendered by Lee Elias, and then the final published cover in full color. And of course, on each page, it's got the info below. Not only that, it doesn't stop there, folks. Good Lord, no. For example, this is kind of trippy. All right. Now, you've got the original Terrors of the Jungle. That is L.B. Cole art. Absolutely outstanding. Well, in 1980, he decided to redraw the cover himself. So this is the original art redrawn by L.B. Cole in 1980 for this particular issue of Terrors of the Jungle. Extraordinarily rare. Let's just put it that way, folks. A lot of stuff. There's a Kirby unpublished. Warren Kremer. Once again, yeah. There's a good amount of Harvey in here. You see the rough sketch there with the color, and that's by Warren Kremer. So he lays it out, and then Lee Elias did the final cover art for Witch Tales particular issue. So there you go. That's what you got, folks. It is Pre-Code Horror Comics Original Art Edition, 126 pages of a lot of stuff that you will see nowhere else. Okay, that's all there is to it. I did some freaking deep diving to get some of this content, and a lot of it has simply never seen print before. So there you go. Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. Once again, that link, well, it was there. Oh, there. Nope. No, that's not it. There it is right there. Link is in the chat. That is the link right there, folks. For the book. Okay. Enough of that scramble tone right there. Good Lord. All right, so let's get back to reality, shall we? All right. Of course, we've got films to look at tonight, folks. We've also got some really cool stuff from Arkham House. Yeah, we're talking Arkham House, folks. Arkham House. The land of Lovecraft, Clark Ashton Smith. You name it. A ton of people. Hubie Cave. Of course, August Derleth, the creator, founder of Arkham House. But before we dive into that, let's go over to the chat and see who the hell is with us on this fine and fiendish Frightday evening. Dave James is here. Hello, Dave James. Watched 56 horror movies over the month of October. That's impressive, Dave James. Hatchet was the only franchise that I watched. There's a couple of Hatchets that I like. Greetings from Down Under. It's Werewolf by Lunchtime. Good Lord. Apex Comics is with us. Apex, who the America wins? Yes, indeed. Good Lord. And you know what? I am pleased as hell to be over that political period. I don't know about you guys, but I got like about, I don't know, what could have been 10 pounds worth of political crap advertising in my mailbox over the last couple of months. I mean, I was just like astounded at the utter waste. Especially it's the local, people running for local office or whatever. They just send you these big flyers and shit. I mean, almost every day. It's insane. The amount of waste, because I just get them out of the mailbox, and then I walk back, and as I'm walking back to my house, I just dump them in the trash. It's just horrifying. What can you do? Werewolf says no politics. Well, that's too late. It's a little late on that one, Werewolf. Eric Boyd, no longer Cheapo Comics, is with us tonight. Carolyn Monroe, indeed. Cool Head Rock Campaign, Cecil something. Oh, okay. Head Rock. Radamus is here. Hello, Radamus. Good Lord. PBR Street Gang is with us tonight. Hello, PBR Street Gang. Well, my internet connection is really spotty tonight. Left-Handed Jedi is with us. Hello, Left-Handed Jedi. The Ant reminds me of an Outer Limits episode, and that is The Misfits of Xanti. You're absolutely correct, which, of course, would come out almost 10 years later, The Misfits of Xanti. So they may have been, let's just put it this way. I think they were inspired by this particular cover, which came out in 1953-ish, 52, 53. That is issue number 4 of Weird Mysteries. Fantastic cover by the one and only great Bernard Bailey, who was the co-creator of The Spectre in 1939. The Phantom and the Human Fly. Worrell says, I would have to sell my entire collection, 34 short boxes, for a Chamber of Chills 19. That book is crazy expensive. You're absolutely right. It is insanely expensive. Yeah, and for good reason. Matter of fact, I saw the original art. The original art cover by Lee Elias. It was on auction. It was on God. Drawing a blank here. Heritage Auctions. And I want to say the cover, it sold for $250,000. I believe I'm correct. Somewhere around that, 250 grand for the original art of the cover, you know. That's a freaking spicy clamato, I'm telling you. Daninsky is here. Hello, Daninsky. Good to see you. Horror Mike, the YouTube legend. Okay, well, I'll take that, Daninsky. PBR says, I have a movie recommendation. Recently watched The House of the Long Shadows. Anytime you get Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and Vincent Price, you know you're in for a treat. Indeed. Agreed. Internet is batty. It's batty. Cast a Deadly Spell. There's another good one right there. All right. Fiends and Freaks. All right, before we get into the films, I've got to show you a couple of things I recently acquired. Now, these are, they're not comic book related, but they are quite interesting. It's all about Arkham House, folks. Now, Arkham House, first off, I don't think I've shown you this book. This is 60 Years of Arkham House compiled by S.T. Joshi. And it is fantastic. Every freaking Arkham House book published for 60 years, right? Since the inception, 1939. The first book ever published, of course, was the H.P. Lovecraft compilation, The Outsider and Others. And it's fantastic. But this is just freaking great. Yeah. August Derleth, that is August Derleth. He founded Arkham House back in 1939. This was literally, folks, less than 2 years after Lovecraft died. Arkham Derleth, was on the ball. It was like, look, man, I got to, publish Lovecraft stories, many of which were already published in Weird Tales magazine. So he formed Arkham House, and the rest is history. This is totally insane because it's got every book, and of course it details what's in the book, and then it has typically something like, you can see a paragraph there, some historical value surrounding the book, anecdotes, for example. Highly recommended, folks. This is from Arkham House. This is 60 Years of Arkham House. Fantastic. Before we get into the Arkham House stuff I do have this. Now, I may have shown this quickly at one time, but check this baby out. This is the original. Oh yeah, you can see it's faded on the spine, the whole thing. It's in slightly rough shape, but it is readable. This is the October of 1935 issue of Weird Tales. And as you can see on the cover, it has got a Dr. Satan story by Paul Ernst. And this one is called Hollywood Horror. Oh, yeah. Cover art by Margaret Brundage, who did many covers for Weird Tales. But this one's in pretty good shape. I mean, it is taped on the inside, but it's readable, totally. There's a classic illustration that this is from Hollywood Horror by Paul Ernst. Really great illustration there of Dr. Satan. So there you go, folks. That is Weird Tales, October of 1935. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is something I had to get. I just got this in paperback because I really couldn't snag a copy, an original Arkham House edition, price wise. But this is The Shuttered Room and Other Stories. H.P. Lovecraft with August Derleth. Great. Just you can pick these up, the originals, for $10, in really good shape on eBay. This one I have not even gotten to yet, but boy, I am looking forward to this. Robert E. Howard, Skullface, Omnibus Volume 1. Oh, yes, folks. As it says on the back, Robert E. Howard, creator of some of the greatest worlds of heroic fantasy and nightmare horror ever conceived by the mind of man. Oh, yes. That is, as it says, within the Skullface Omnibus, you'll find a nerve. What the fuck does that say? Hold on, folks. Horror Mike needs his other eyes. You will find a nerve-tautening gallery of tales of superhuman savagery and supernatural evil. There you go. That is one you don't see every day. I cannot wait to get into this one. This is not Conan stuff. This is pretty much Robert E. Howard supernatural horror type stuff. So, should be quite good. I'm looking forward to that, my fiends. Okay, here we go, folks. Whew. All right. I don't think you've seen any of these. All right. One of the things that's listed in that book, the 60 Years of Arkham, of course, are the Arkham Sampler books. This is autumn of 1948. Robert Bloch is in this one. Lord Dunsany is also in this. Typically speaking, they were, about 100 pages, and really cool. Some really great stories. They did, of course, reprint some Lovecraft, like the Dream Quest of Unknown Cadath. You can see there. Really great stuff. These are the ones I got are kind of in rough shape, as you can see. They're readable, but they've seen better days. You can find them in really great shape for $60 to $100 on eBay, but I don't have that kind of cheddar. Okay, so I get the low end readable copies, which are fine. 1948, folks. Good Lord. Incredible. Approaching 80 years old. Let's just put it that way. This one's even worse. Check this out. God, holy shit, man. This is winter of 1948. As you can see, not much left of that cover. This has the continuing Dream Quest of Unknown Cadath by Lovecraft in it, plus just a variety of stories. I believe that, Clark Ashton Smith is in this. Derleth has an article also in this. It's a good one. It's barely there. I just taped the shit out of the spine because it was disintegrated. It was pretty bad. But it is readable, once again, fortunately. And the last Arkham Sampler, this is really interesting. This is winter of 1949, folks. and it's the all science fiction issue. Oh, yes. All science fiction. Check out the laundry list of writers in this particular issue. Ray Bradbury, A.E. Van Vogt, Theodore Sturgeon, Jules Verne, Clark Ashton Smith, Forrest J. Ackerman contributes to this issue, folks. Donald Wandre, Sam Moskowitz, Fritz Lieber, or Leiber, depending on what state you're living in. Robert Bloch in here, Carl Jacoby. Incredible lineup, the all science fiction issue of the Arkham Sampler. That concludes the Arkham Samplers. I've got one more book. Yeah, this is just, whew. Once again, I may have shown this when I got it, but I think I just kind of showed it real quick. This is an Arkham House original. It is Marginalia by H.P. Lovecraft with an insane Virgil Finlay cover for the Shuttered Room. This thing is just amazing, folks. Original price, you may be able to see that, $3. It's not $3 anymore. Let's just put it that way. The great thing about Marginalia, folks, and this is, by the way, all put together entirely by August Derleth and Donald Wandre. This was published in 1944. But it does, this particular book does have 3 revision stories that Lovecraft wrote with other writers, including Medusa's Coil, Winged Death, and The Man of Stone. But then there's various articles by Lovecraft on writing weird fiction, writing about Lord Dunsany, and so forth. A couple of short stories that Lovecraft wrote when he was a teenager. Yes. Oh, yeah. Fragments of stories that were never completed. And then a variety of authors talking about Lovecraft. And there's one guy, let's see if I can find this. Yeah. The Wind That Is in the Grass, a memoir of H.P. Lovecraft in Florida, folks, by R.H. Barlow. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got this book, because Barlow lived in Florida. Lovecraft visited Barlow a couple of times. I've got a ton of video of the original Barlow house, and you're going to see that when the documentary comes out, probably January or February. So this was instrumental. This book was totally instrumental in the Lovecraft in Florida documentary. So there you go, Marginalia, highly recommended. The problem with this is that it's hard to find. It is hard to find in any form other than Arkham House, right? It was only printed once, never reprinted. You know, it's one of those deals. But well worth it if you can find a copy. Let's get back to the chat real quick before I dive back into the films. The Left-Handed Jedi says it was Robert E. Howard in the Black Stone story that created that fictitious publishing house. What you mean, the Golden Goblin Press? PBR says, hey, I just read Skullface. Well, there you go. It's, that type of thing. Okay. Werewolf says, I've been trying to pick Upcycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King because Bernie writes and art cannot find it at decent price. Howard also wrote one of my faves, The Fire of Arsenipanol, I guess. Those Arkham samplers are really expensive on eBay. It depends on the condition. I got these pretty cheap because they're reader copies. You know what I'm saying? But hell, I see a complete set on eBay for $5.49. I mean, I'm sure they're in great shape, though. You know what I'm saying? Like very fine condition. These are like barely 2.0s. Daninsky, the Acro Monster. You got that right, Daninsky. Oh, yes. Marginalia book is $450. Yep. Ain't cheap. Now, I got this a little while ago, and I got a better deal than that, but they're expensive as hell. But so worth it. Look, let me put it this way, guys. If you are a Lovecraft fan, if you read a lot of Lovecraft or Weird Tales or August Derleth, Arkham House stuff, Marginalia is a book to check out. It's one of my favorite Arkham House books. No doubt about it. Yes, indeed, he was. Del Rey Lovecraft said, yep, Michael Whelan. You're absolutely correct, Dave James. Those were some really cool covers, too. The Michael Whelan covers. Lovecraft down in Florida wearing a Hawaiian shirt, drinking a pina colada. You know, sunning on the Atlantic coast. Oh, man. Wait until oh, my God. Yeah, this documentary it's gonna be a good one, folks. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's that time. Yeah, we're gonna head on over to everybody's favorite place. I just gotta. That's correct. Okay, good. I just gotta. Oh God, there are some beautiful poster art. No doubt about it. God, incredible. Check this stuff out, folks. There we go. God, some of these are just absolutely stunning, and it gets better with the key art, the poster art. Wait until you see some of these tonight. They are fantastic. But as you can see, we're going to start off in the 80s with once again, I'm going to talk about the key art or poster art a lot because that key art for the Majorettes is freaking great. I love the way it's done, and it's just fantastic. But I love the top line there. It says, "Sis boom blood, you're dead." Yes, it's the Majorettes. Good Lord.
Like your grandmother's head.
Okay, getting a little excited there. 1986 action crime horror thriller. A hooded psycho is murdering high school girls. A devil-worshipping, drug-dealing biker gang is suspected. Oh, God. What a combo, folks. What a freaking combo. I just hate it when they do that. Okay, but it's not that bad, though, folks. All right, there we go. Good Lord. It's great. I enjoyed the Majorettes to a large degree. Now, it's got some pedestrian scenes that you kind of feel like, fast forwarding, but there's some great sequences. There's TNA. There's a lot of good, I wouldn't say graphic gore, but decent enough gore, okay, to get by. It's not quite like, for instance, the original Friday the 13th, right? Where gore was the name of the game. on that. But there are some really good kills. And yeah, overall, it's definitely worth seeing at least once. Naturally, I've got a short trailer, but it's short, folks, but it is sweet. Check out this trailer for the Majorettes.
The high school Majorettes. They're so popular, so pretty, and so desirable. You just can't take your eyes off them, and that's enough to get them killed. One by one by one.
He knows who we all are. And if he's determined to come after us one by one... One by one? It gives me the creeps.
One by one. They're never too young. They're never too old. They're never too late to give the last performance of their lives. Leave it to the co-author of The Night of the Living Dead to take the Majorettes apart.
Beautiful. There you go, folks. Now, that's a nice, tidy trailer that doesn't mess around. That was only a minute long, but it got the point across. There you go. Recommended. The Majorettes, folks. It's on Tubi now. You can't lose. It's free. Come on now. Next up, we got Mind, Body, and Soul. Oh, yes. Ginger Lynn is in this one along with Wings Hauser. As it says, total possession, the ultimate sacrifice.
Like it then?
Yes. 1992, we're jumping forward a little bit. But as it says, when a young woman's evil boyfriend brings her to a satanic ritual, you know things are going south when your boyfriend brings you to a satanic ritual. She refuses to join the cult, so they deem her a traitor and take brutal revenge. Ginger Lynn, Wings Hauser, John Henry Richardson, directed by Rick Sloan. Yes, good Lord, folks, that is Mind, Body, and Soul. Now, I don't know if I've got a trailer to this one. Take a look. Oh, I do. All right, yeah, look. You'll see it in the trailer. You can make up your own mind. Ginger Lynn is in it, and she's all over it, and all natural. There's a lot of TNA in this flick, which is probably the most redeeming thing about it, in my opinion. I think this trailer is going to tip you off. Check it out.
I see we have a newcomer amongst us this evening. Let us welcome her.
We've been chasing this group for a long time, and we're tired of chasing them. There's something very strange about this particular murder, Brenda.
You got no right to do this. You're harassing my client. This is a friendly witness. Do you understand?
That son of a bitch is out there someplace, and they're holding me for withholding evidence.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Brenda? I'm on your side.
I'm sorry, I just find it real hard to trust anybody right now.
Well, I believe in these things, and that means they're gonna work for me.
You ask too many damn questions.
I can see right now that you're not going to be any help to me at all.
Spells are very difficult to break once they have been cast on you.
I was just walking home.
You must believe in the power.
And they threw something over my head.
Ooh, this sounds serious.
I didn't even see them coming.
Quit screwing with me, Brenda. I'm not in the mood for this shit anymore.
Detective, I don't know who these people were, but I'm not one of them.
In your mind's eye, you are not guilty. Yet in eternity's eye, you are.
Lighten up? You want me to lighten up? Let me tell you, it's not in my nature.
I mean, you above all should know you can't rely on the goddamn police department.
I've told you everything I know.
And now, let the ceremonies begin.
Oh, there you go, folks. What the hell is the deal with that soundtrack? It sounds like sounds like music from an elevator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Mind, Body, and Soul. Yeah, as I said before, yeah, you're going to get the TNA factor. And that's pretty much what's going on there with mind, body, and soul. Now, the next one's definitely better, right? No doubt about that. It is Fanatic, aka The Last Horror Show. Oops. I'm sorry, The Last Horror Film, for Christ's sake, 1982. There's a couple of things that make this film really watchable, probably more than once. And they're the stars, Joe Spinell and Carolyn Monroe. Oh, yes, Carolyn Monroe, my good fiends, and she is just looking so good. Now, this is several years after such films as Star Crash. And Joe Spinell is back. He is one of the greatest, knife-wielding maniacs you're ever going to see on the screen. And he goes full bore in this film, Fanatic. As it says, as a New York taxi driver stalks a beautiful actress, that is Caroline Monroe, at the Cannes Film Festival, a series of violent killings strike the lady's friends. Oh, yes. That's what we're talking about right there. And naturally, I've got a weird trailer for this one, folks. This is one strange-ass trailer. This is, I don't know what the hell this is, but it's pretty good. It's a couple of teaser trailers strung together, but the quality is pretty good. Check it out.
Fanatic. Rated R. It was more than just a tease. The way women toyed with him. Everywhere he went, they were there, making him feel small, making him want them.
Does your mommy know what you're doing?
So when Vinny finally persuaded a woman or two to spend a little time, he made sure what he got was more than just teased. Fanatic. Rated R. Everywhere he looked, he saw beautiful people. All Vinny wanted was to be part of it. Women teased him.
You naughty boy.
Making him obsessed by them. So when he finally persuaded a woman or two to spend a little time...
Could you move your head a little to the right?
Vinny made sure what he got was more than just teased. Vinny Duran became the Fanatic radar.
There you go, folks. A couple of teasers for the Fanatic on Tubi, and definitely worth watching. There ain't no doubt about that. Let's cruise on up. Oh boy, we are getting into some freaking hot area here. Folks, on this lineup tonight, Stigma is one of those films that you're going to have to see to believe. It's something else. Check it out. 1972, Stigma. Dr. Kelvin Cross, who is played by Philip Michael Thomas. Yes, that's the same Philip Michael Thomas of Miami Vice fame. Okay, but this is way before that, 1972. A young Philip Michael Thomas plays Dr. Calvin Cross, arrives in a secluded community just in time for its young people to fall victim to a deadly virus that he sets out to cure. Yeah, we're talking STDs here, folks. We're talking syphilis. And here today, gonorrhea. That's what I'm talking about with this film, Stigma, directed by David Durston. The dialogue is freaking comedy gold. It is fantastic. The scenes are great. This is like, I would call it one of the most 1970s grindhouse films that you may ever see in your life. It is freaking great. It is weird as hell. You got some bizarre characters. Of course, there's TNA all over the place with weird sexual situations. Yeah, it's just got everything in it. Of course, there's some kind of racial tensions in the town. This is like a northern town somewhere, like I want to say like North Washington off the coast, North Washington State, something like that. But it's a small town, yeah. So Philip Michael Thomas's character, Dr. Calvin Cross, gets himself into quite a pickle in this film, Stigma. But if you like grindhouse films, if you haven't seen this, you've got to check this out. It's just one of those films that I don't think you're going to forget soon. Okay. And I've got a trailer. Oh, I've got a tasty little trailer for you.
The curse that begins with a kiss. Stigma.
I've got it.
It crept around town from girl to boy.
We're a fine church-going community. You don't get it by sitting on public crappers.
An epidemic of VD in Vietnam, yes. But in the USA, man.
Hey, they think we have a sick.
One case ain't gonna contaminate the whole community. Yeah, well, there can be no one case without another. That is a simple fact.
Dr. Drawer?
A disease they'd rather die from than admit they have.
It'll be a Wasserman test for each of the girls. That includes you too, Tassie.
Oh, no way, no way. Inspect me, I just had a bath.
Son of a bitches. Now they think I'm spreading syph all over the goddamn place.
Never made it with a black man before.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch you with a 40-foot flagpole.
Who did it? Nigger! Nigger!
This is really gonna grab you by the short hairs, baby. Your daughter was right there in the thick of it.
Panic and violence exploded everywhere.
Don't be a fool! Hey, Dee Dee, come back, don't be a fool!
Before I'm through, I'm gonna give it to every bastard I can, including giving it back to you.
Stigma, she's got it.
There you go. Stigma, she's got it. Oh my God, just some classic dialogue. You gotta check this film out if you get a chance. Stigma. Next up, we have Swingers Massacre. Oh yes, there's another one. Prime film from the 1970s, distributed by Red Rocket Media. They picked up a ton of these really low-budget grindhouse films, so you will see them all over Tubi. Swingers Massacre is from 1974. It's also called Inside Amy, also known as Inside Amy. As it says, after a bored couple attends a swingers party, the husband sets off on a jealous killing spree, picking off anyone who tries to sleep with his wife. It's once again, folks, it's a 1974 grindhouse sex crime horror, quasi horror, I would say. It's more like a sex crime thriller type of thing. It's pretty damn sleazy and definitely right in the sewer grindhouse goodness. So if you get a chance, you might want to check it out. Maybe make it into a double feature with Stigma. Okay, that might work. And I believe I've got a short trailer for Swingers Massacre, aka Inside Amy. Check this out.
There are millions of swingers that live it up.
Let's cut out. It's party time.
But some die.
Charlie, I want to go.
I thought I told you if word got out that we were swingers, it would kill my practice.
She was wild. Couldn't get enough.
Hey, for sure.
It's about your old lady, man. That was just right, Charlie.
Can a smart lawyer get away with murder?
Well, I guess
He's gone off and talk to his wife. What's the talk? Killed himself. Rich, just got a call. Another 187 PC.
What I mean is, could this have been a suicide pact between your husband and Jim Simon?
We're swingers. Charlie, if you really love me, you wouldn't want to do this.
Amy that I'm interested in.
Yeah, two of them. Listen, we're gonna need the meat wagon over here.
They were murdered.
Bill Stacy is dead, too.
You know him too, didn't you?
What exactly is it that you want?
The truth.
You think I'm crazy?
You've never met a couple like Charlie and Amy. Or maybe you have.
There you go, folks. That's Swingers Massacre, a.k.a. Inside Amy, now on Tubi. And look, as far as Grindhouse TNA goes, it delivers the goods. So that's pretty much where that's at. As well as the next film, Girls on the Road. Yes, we are just on a roll with the 70s. There ain't no doubt about that. Girls on the Road, 1972, as they call it, a drama, comedy, horror, mystery. That might be taking it a little too far, but in any case, as it says, two girls pick up a crazed hitchhiker who may or may not be the serial killer murdering hippies in the area. Now, the concept is good enough. Once again, it just kind of lags and drifts off in places. But there is some really nice 70s TNA also in this film, which kind of makes it worth watching with occasional fast forward. Just have your remote on hand, I think, for this particular film. And you'll be doing pretty good. Okay, Girls on the Road. Let's move on. Oh, we're coming up to some beauties right here. Good Lord. Whew, I tell you, we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. Let me get back to the comments, though. See who has chimed in. What the bloody freak? Watch out, Opie Cunningham. Knife through the roof. Ginger Lynn, Charlie Sheen's ex-girlfriend. Of course, there we go. I'm sure he probably got the stigma more than once. You know what I'm saying, Radamus? And I think that you do. Watch anything with Carolyn Monroe in it. That is true. Ding, ding, ding on that one. I've probably seen every Carolyn Monroe film at least once. Sheriff's hat looks a bit too tight. Stigma. She's got it. Baby, she's got it. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire. Okay. And no, I'm not irritated. It's kind of a weird one. Oh. I don't know. That's it's almost there. It's almost there, Cheapo. I mean, Eric. We're close. We're close on that one. But moving along, Death Wish Club, folks. If you want to see a weird ass freaking movie, watch Death Wish Club. 1984 comedy thriller. This one is one for the books. One of the strangest films I've seen in the last couple of years, no doubt about that. As it says, when straight-laced Glenn falls for Greta, an enchanting actress with a group of eccentric friends, he finds himself trapped in their dangerous world. Yeah, this is, it's like, I guess the height of I don't know how to say this. It's a 1980s film. Look, it's centers pretty much the action is in and around Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, and so forth. I was there during that period of time. Yeah, I never hung out at bars like the ones in this particular movie. Holy shit. It is it's a different animal, folks. Death Wish Club. Yeah. I think you just have to see it to believe it. That's all I can tell you. It's recommended if you like weird cinema. Death Wish Club, it is the definition of weird 1980s cinema. There is no doubt about it. And of course, it's got a lot of TNA in Death Wish Club, folks. You will not be disappointed with the delivery of TNA in the flick. Merchants of Death, 1989. We're on an 80s kick now. Horror thriller. As it says, 3 beautiful young women are taken to a sinister medical center where someone is making a killing selling healthy human organs on the black market. Now, PJ Souls is in this film along with Russ Tamblyn, directed by Ross Hagen. I have not seen this film. I do plan on watching it, primarily for PJ Souls, especially if she gets nude. Okay? Because that chick, if you ever saw Halloween, you know what I'm talking about. She's quite hot, folks. PJ Souls in Merchants of Death. So there you go. Next up, we move into the 90s with the Brain Twisters. I love that cover art. That's all you need right there. Just a chick strapped to a chair. Yeah, that's what's going on with Brain Twisters. As it says, a science fiction chiller. Oh, yes. 1991 sci-fi horror flick. As it says, a group of college students participates in an insidious experiment that exposes them to computer game images, triggering violent outbursts. Huh. Well, what do you know? That sounds familiar. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is another weird one. Yeah, it's worth watching once. Let's put it that way. It's definitely well worth watching once. It's a strange film once again, but absolutely in the sci-fi horror realm. Let's take a little gander at the trailer. Yes, folks, the film is as weird as that trailer. Let's just put it that way. But what do you expect with a title like Brain Twisters? Okay? That's what I'm talking about right there. But I do love that cover art. That is just beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, God. Talk about three classic movie posters, three classic pieces of key art for horror films right here, folks. Check those out. I mean, wow. They just don't make them like they used to. That's what I'm talking about right now. We got Mario Bava's Barren Blood, The Devil's Nightmare, and Deadly Inheritance on the lineup here. And I just, man, that is real movie poster art right there. All three of them, just gorgeous. But first up, we have Mario Bava's Barren Blood. Now, Mario Bava is definitely one of those guys. First, yeah, this is rated PG. I could have sworn it was rated R. Maybe this is a PG version, which would suck. But in any case, 1972, a young man visiting the remote castle of an ancestor in Austria brings his dead relative, a brutal and sadistic baron, back to life. Starring Joseph Cotton, Elke Summer, directed by Mario Bava, folks. Yes, indeed. And well worth watching. I've seen it a couple of times. I haven't seen it recently, but I'm sure it still holds up. You know, like most Mario Bava films. He's just one of the greats, one of Italy's masters, right? Masters of horror and fantasy cinema. There's no doubt about it. Barren Blood recommended, even though this appears to be a PG version. Once again, I swear to God, there was an R-rated version. I may be wrong, but at least Tubi's got one of them, you know. Next up, we got Devil's Nightmare, folks. Oh, God, this is another strange one, 1971. The Devil's Nightmare. A grim fate awaits a group of tourists forced to spend the night at a castle owned by a baron whose family is afflicted with a devilish curse. Oh, God, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Directed by Jean Brismet. There's a lot of Jacques and stuff in there, so I'm thinking it may be French. I don't know. I really don't. It's dubbed, so it's one of those things. But I do love that poster art. That is just beautiful. And I do have a really groovy little trailer for The Devil's Nightmare. Check this out.
Did you hear that?
What is a succubus?
Oh, a kind of vampire, I think.
You're mistaken, Mr. Mason. They give the name of succubus to demons that adopt feminine appearance in order to seduce man and lead him to perdition.
You again. What are you doing here?
Why do you ask? You're not pleased that I've come to visit you?
Enough, Hans. Please change the subject. You've too much imagination. would lie. I did have a daughter. I killed her.
You speak defiantly because your body is protected. But admit your thoughts are troubled. You desire Lisa.
What if I got completely undressed in front of you? Do you think that I could be a succubus?
Well, if you helped me a little instead of looking at me like that.
Always with the explosion at the end. It's got all this. The trailer seems like it was edited by 5 different people. They're like, okay, let's just throw this scene in there. That's good. I don't know. Hey, look, folks, it's the devil's nightmare. What do you expect? But no, it is worth watching. There ain't no doubt about that. It's a strange film. But there's some good scenes in it. No doubt about it. You know, those Frenchies know how to make a titillating horror film. Let's just put it that way, folks. So, yes. Next up, we have Deadly Inheritance. And by far the best thing about Deadly Inheritance, in my opinion, folks, is that freaking poster art. Oh, that key art is just beautiful. Check that out. I mean, God, the colors, everything. It's got a lot going for it. Let's take a look at the particulars, shall we? 1968, we've gone back in time a few years. Deadly Inheritance. When the death of a surprisingly rich railroad worker leads to a mysterious murders within his heirs, Inspector Greville is called in to investigate. Well, you always need to call in Inspector Greville. There's a series of murders. Okay. But in any case, yeah, once again, Italian film directed by Vittorio Sidoni. And starring a lot of Italians, except for one guy, Tom Drake. Of course, they bust in the American actor, and the rest are Italian actors. There you go, folks. That's how they did it back in the fabulous 60s and 70s. With the Italian films, with those giallo films. Come on, Mamma Mia. But just check out that poster art. Good Lord. All 3 of them. You know, I don't know which one's the best, really. They're all 3 of them are just quite tasty, you know. I dig the hell out of that thing. But let's get back to the chat, shall we, and see what's going down with the chatsters. Dave James says Charlie Sheen had a number of porn stars for girlfriends back in the day. Brie Olson was another one. And needless to say, a number of stigmas. Ain't no doubt about that. But Kevin Hellon is with us tonight. Hello, Kevin. How you doing? Good Lord. Radama says, I'll watch anything with Elkie Summer in it. Oh, yes. I second that thought, Radamas. Elkie Summer is still alive at the time of this stream, age 84. Wow. She's up there, but she's still alive and kicking, folks. Warren Kremer was amazing. Dude, fucking absolutely insane artist, you know, no doubt about it. Doesn't everyone fool around in the dungeon? You got to fool around in the dungeon. Come on, man. K.O. Joe is here as well. Hello, K.O. Joe from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to see you, my good man. Dave Jane says, yep, these are the movie posters you want hanging in your movie room. I agree 100%, Dave James. There is no doubt about that. That is just a trio of beauties right there. I mean, good Lord. Just fantastic, you know. Ain't no doubt about that. Let's see here. People are saying hi. All right, folks. Well, we've come to the end of tonight's films. Actually, Deadly Inheritance is the last film I had for you tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this look at some classic primarily 70s and 80s grindhouse horror and sci-fi films. And as is tradition, I just sadly, folks, can't do that. Can't do the Starfires anymore because that's going to get me booted. But at least I can leave you out with, the next best thing, I guess, which is Torgo and the Hot Babes. In any case, folks, have a great weekend and a great week for that matter. And I will hopefully see you next Friday. Take care.
But actually, the master is not away. He is here with us. So I don't know who else is watching the place. I am Torgo. I watch after the place while the master is away. The master is here, so I have no idea who's watching the place. You know the jig. I look after the place, yada yada. The master is with us, so I don't know who's watching the place. One of those will be a good take.